December 18, 1878, in Gori, Georgia, Joseph Stalin, the child of Yekaterina and Vissarion, was brought into this world. He was the third child of the shoemaker and domestic servant. However, Joseph was the only child to survive infancy. When Stalin was 5, his father, an alcoholic who would repeatedly beat his mother, left to go work in the capital of Georgia at a factory. For the rest of his childhood, it was just him and his mother living with the priest. At the age of 8, Stalin's mother sent him to an Orthodox school to begin his studies as a priest. Here he studied the Russian language for 2 years. Because Georgians had their own culture and language, Stalin was not accustomed to it. Stalin then stayed at the Orthodox school until he graduated 6 years later. By September 1894, he was enrolled in Tiflis Theological Seminary, studying to become a priest. Here, Stalin became acquainted with the idea of Marxism, and his interest in the revolutionary movement peaked. Marxism, known as scientific socialism or communism, said that human history was determined by class warfare. In simpler words, the rich got richer and the poor got poorer. This will lead to revolution and establishment of a dictatorship. Stalin's newfound interest in this idea would carry on with him in his adulthood. 5 years later, Stalin was expelled from the theological seminary. Did you know that Stalin could sing? As a young boy, it is said that Stalin thrived in the church boys' choir. He sung front row at the Orthodox church that he grew up in. At a young age, Stalin caught a case of blood poisoning. This blood poisoning caused his left arm to grow shorter than his right. It also caused a stunt in his growth, making him weaker than a lot of the peers he grew up with. Lastly, did you know that Stalin was born with a birth defect? Stalin was born with fused toes, or other known as webbed toes. This is when 2 or more toes are webbed together. This made him face many challenges in his field.
От малого до старого ждет и требует одного – изменников и шпионов, продавших врагу нашу родину, расстрелять как поганых псов.
The Great Purge, also known as the Great Terror, lasted from 1936 to 1939. It was a large-scale repression of wealthy peasants, the suppression of national and ethnic minorities, and the purge of the Communist Party government officials and the leadership of the Red Army. This all happened because Stalin was facing opposition from both the left and right wings in the party. In response to this opposition, Stalin led a political purge to eliminate any challenges from both past and potential opponents within the Communist Party. During this time, police surveillance was instituted. There was an estimated death toll of 750,000, and at least 100,000 of those victims were accused of political crimes such as espionage, wrecking, sabotage, and etc. Those accused were quickly executed by shooting or were sent to labor camps where they died from starvation, diseases, and exposure, or overwork.
The plot has been uncovered. The mask of treason has been torn from their faces, now and forever. Let the verdict be heard like thunder, like a fresh, purifying thunderstorm of Soviet justice. Our entire country, no matter whether young or old, demand only one thing, that the traitors and spies who wanted to sell out the homeland should be shot like rabid dogs. The masses demand only one thing, to stamp out this accursed vermin.
During the show trials, the state prosecutor told the 3 judges from the Supreme Court that the 16 people in front of them should be sentenced to death. All of them confessed to terrorist activities and the conspiracy to eliminate Soviet leaders. Amongst those men were 2 prominent Bolshevist leaders, Zinoviev and Kamnev. The second show trial commenced on January 1937, where Rydak and Patlov denounced the followers of Trotsky as vipers and vultures. During this trial, the Trotskys were demanded to be mercilessly exterminated. Show trial 3 commenced on March 1938, where Bakhnahar Rykov and 18 others listed listened in to silence vacancies in these accusations. 21 men were on trial. All of these men, except for 3, were sentenced to death.
The outcome of the Great Purge shocked the world, seeing a powerful government such as the Soviet Union turn on its own people. Joseph Stalin's paranoia ravaged through the entire country, sparing no one in sight. He mercilessly killed anyone he deemed a threat to his consolidation of power. It's even estimated that he killed over a third of the Soviet Union's Communist Party, which his whole campaign was deemed to protect. Filling Soviet society with widespread panic led to the dissension of many intellectuals and militarized personnel, drastically diminishing the power of the Red Army, leaving the country in a weakened state. Due to this weakened state, Germany easily threatened the influence of the USSR with invasion. Later, Joseph Stalin died in 1953 due to a hemorrhagic stroke that was alleged to be caused by poison slipped into his wine.
Ошибочно думать, что наша партия, ставшая могущественной силой, не нуждается больше в поддержке. Это неверно. Наша партия и наша страна всегда нуждались и будут нуждаться в доверии, в сочувствии и поддержке братских народов за рубежом. Особенность этой поддержки состоит в том, что всякая поддержка миролюбивых стремлений нашей партии со стороны любой братской партии означает вместе с тем поддержку своего собственного народа в его борьбе за сохранение мира.